There is so much that I have not done. There is so much I was not willing to do until I got the education, until I got the training, until I got the certification. Whatever it was, I kept making a different degree, a different value factor, the requirement for me to go and do what I wanted to do. I kept saying, I'm going to have these things. And it wasn't until recently that on the other side of my grandma's death, she passed away a year ago. And since then, I've been having these deeper reflections, remembering things about her life. Now that I'm not able to have a conversation with her and just hear her telling me her stories, and thinking, what did she do? How did she achieve this? And my grandma, I think she had all these different hardships. She never made it past the 6th grade. And she started her own business. And here I am. I have a graduate degree. I have had lots of privilege and opportunity and blessings because of how I've been brought up. And I'm like, no, I need something else. I need another training. I need to go through this program. I need somebody else to tell me what to do. And I don't take the actions. Why? Keep applying meaning to something else that thing has the power. That thing is the access point to me getting what I want. And what I'm starting to see as I'm looking back at these memories of my grandma is that I am not in need of another thing or somebody to give me permission or a certificate or a degree to tell me I'm worthy enough. I just have to decide that for myself. I just have to take the action. I have to decide based on what it is that I want, that I am willing to go after it because I believe it can be mine if I will just put myself out there, if I will just go for it. That's the difference. And my grandma took the skills that she had, which her beginning was in sewing, and she started to make and sew draperies for people. And that turned into a business. And then she was doing that. And while she was doing that, she decided to sell some stuff. And that eventually turned and created her antique business. And she became an antique dealer. And people would pay her to assess her antiques. She ran her own antique shop. And she figured it out. And then the other day I was thinking about something that I want, which I'm going to say it here because I'm believing it's coming to me. And I want it within the next year, is I want a house on the lake. Now I'm very specific. I'm not going to get into all that here about the type of house I want. I've even picked out the lake that I want it on, all the different things that I have. But I got to thinking about grandma and I thought, my grandma came up in poverty. My grandma didn't have much. My grandma created her own business, but still wasn't like ultra wealthy. But she decided that she wanted to move out of the city and she wanted to live on the lake. And she was one house, there was like another house behind her and then the lake. That's how close she got to be to the lake. And she bought a little cabin and she doubled that in size. They added on to it. It was a beautiful place for her. And I took that for granted growing up as a kid, that now I look back and I go, Grandma had a lake house. Grandma had a lake house. I could have a lake house. Not only am I her granddaughter, and I feel like some of her wisdom and influence has been passed on to me from what I've absorbed and genetically, but I'm going to stand in that power and know that I am fully capable. You are fully capable too. Creating whatever it is that you want. You've just got to make that decision. I was listening recently to an old recording, and the person doing the recording was like, you got to make sure you get specific. And he gave this awesome example that I'm going to pass along here. Is they said, he was talking to somebody and they said, what do you want? What do you want? And the guy said, I would really like to take a trip around the world. I would like to be sailing for long periods of time. And he said, okay, but that's going to be more specific. Give more specific. He said, okay, I can imagine myself standing there and I'm holding onto the rails and the wind is blowing and the waves are coming up and I'm splashing on my face and I'm really experiencing this. And I've been sailing for a long period of time. He's like, okay, keep getting specific. But the guy never got more specific than that. However, with what he put out there, it was enough that within a year he had manifested what it was he wanted. However, instead of sailing around the world on vacation as a trip, he was sailing around the world as a part of the service. He was there working, and that was how he was getting his trip around the world. So you've got to be specific about how it is that you want things. So I don't know, and I can't ask her now what it was that grandma really wanted and how specific she got about that lake house. But I know that she enjoyed it and she turned it into amazing things. And she really got to live out her dream in so many different ways because she just kept crafting that vision for what she wanted. I don't even know that she knew what she was doing. And I've seen my grandma as the entrepreneur she was, but she never used that label. She was just like, I've created a business and this is the work that I do. Like, it just was so simple. And we complicate things in our culture and we want to attach so much meaning to all these external things. But I'm telling you, it's not the external things that you need. It's just the clarity. You've got to be specific. So I've actually started looking at different lake houses just on real estate listings and looking through and going, no, I don't want to fix it up. Or no, I want it for this. That's another great idea. What would that look like? How do I want the rooms laid out? I'm starting to get this vision in my mind of something specific. And last week, my husband and oldest son went on a trip and they went up to the lake in a whole nother state, not where I'm wanting to get a lake house, but they went to visit some friends. This community is on a lake, yes. So they are lake houses, but they're like modular homes on the lake. And it's a very different kind of community vibe than what I'm envisioning for myself. And that's not to speak against that. It's just not what I want. And they sent me a picture of like, look, this is for sale. We really like it. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want. And because I've gotten specific and I'm going to hold on to that dream, knowing I'm completely capable and worthy and I can have it just because I want it. And I know why. I know what it means to me. And this is the kind of clarity that you need, not just for the things, like tangible physical things, but other elements of your life. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? All the different things. So I have a contract that is getting ready to end that was giving me insurance. So I got income and insurance through this particular job that I was under contract for 1 year. And that contract is expiring this month. And I got to thinking, and I know that they've sent a paper, I haven't even opened it, about how to continue my insurance if I want to pay privately for this insurance. I didn't even want to read it. And I was like, And then I was thinking, I'm going to have to do something about insurance, but I would really just like to have the insurance. I don't want to have to go on the marketplace or go through Cobra or do these things. I just want to have insurance. I really liked having it provided by somebody. And I thought, it's also really nice to have that cushion in my life of this extra income coming in through this job, but I wanted to look different. I knew I wanted it to be very different. I didn't want to go back to where I just finished that other contract. I wanted a different kind of setup, but I just kind of had a feeling in my heart of what that was. I'm not getting in here with the specifics of it because my specifics don't matter to you. It's just about letting you know that all you have to do is attach to what it is you want. So I did that. I just had that vision in my mind, but I was just kind of, it was like a soft feeling. It wasn't like I was thinking about it all the time and messing around with it. I got a message 4 days ago from somebody that I used to have a contract with, and they said, we have this opening and it's immediate and we need somebody. Do you know of anybody? And I was like, well, by chance, I'm available. My other contract is expired. I'm actually going to be available. And we started this conversation. And today I just got the offer and it's even better than the contract before and doing less activities than I had to do before. And it's like a perfect fit. It's just really interesting to notice that I got the insurance without having to be a complication for me. I got the MacBook Pro and I'm getting the contract with that buffer income as I'm growing my business. I have this other, because I like to have multiple streams of income. That's also something that I want. So see, all these elements about how I want to show up, who do I want to be, how do I want to have multiple streams of income, how do I want to feel when I'm doing these types of work, all these things matter. Even like what kind of clothes you want. Earlier this year, I said I wanted to have a new wardrobe by my birthday, like completely revamping my wardrobe. And I'm really close to it. My birthday's in just a couple of weeks, but I have upgraded and changed so many different things. And most everything that I wear is like super soft, very comfy, because I'm like emulating in nice clothing, like what feels like to wear pajamas. Like if all my clothes can just kind of feel as comfortable and soft as wearing pajamas, I'm down for that. And I like a lot of color. So get specific. Let nothing else from this message land with you than to get specific about what it is that you want. Because honestly, you've got to define what you want and input it into your program so that your subconscious can have that planted as the seed. It can water it, it can nourish it, it can grow it as you allow it into your life. And there's so many different elements of this that come into play. And I know that today's conversation is a little bit more manifestation focused, but this applies to how you want your relationship with your kids. This applies to your relationship with your spouse, what kind of life that you're living, what kind of career you're having. I mean, it's seriously anything and everything. So It's not off brand. It's not off topic. It's really, really, really about you just getting super clear about what it is that you want to do and have and be and experience. You get to decide that, but you've got to make that decision. Most people, and I've heard this said so many different ways. So I heard one person say it was over 80%. Another person say that it's really closer to 90% of people who do not have a clear vision of what they want. And you ask them what they want, and like so many people will say, I want more money. I want a better job. I want a bigger house. I want a car. Well, what is that? Like, those are just like big, huge containers. That's not getting really specific. You've got to be specific about what it is that you want, or otherwise you're going to be sailing on the seas, and you're going to be working in the service instead of sailing on the seas and going on your cruise around the world. There's a big difference there in that experience. So get clear about what it is that you want. If you want more help on this, this is actually one of the elements that we talk about and we unpack inside of Evolve Motherhood. And, it's personalized coaching just for you over those 12 weeks. So we can unpack specifically what it is that you want and help you to get really clear about it, because I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to keep digging until you can get so specific and so emotionally attached to what it is you want in all these different areas of your life. And so we can keep finessing that for you, as well as finding the blocks, finding the things that are coming up that are holding you back, why you won't even allow it in. And I have done that. I have said for almost all my life, I wanted a really big house, but I didn't get specific. And then I didn't feel like I was attached. I was like, oh, that's going to be so much money. But that's actually pushing the house away when I think it's like so much money in exchange for it. No, that's not how it works. And so we talk about these elements so you understand how the laws work, how they're impacting you, and what you are capable of doing. That's just one option. If you want to check out Evolve Motherhood, I also have individual trainings that you can get access to in my courses and see what's going on, so you can figure out how to get clear, how to start creating more of what you want in your life, in your results, in your relationships, in all elements of your life, so you can live your best life. You've got to program it on purpose. Have yourself a fabulous day.